cinematic camera movements and when to use them. So it should be used with purpose. Don't do it just to create movement. If you're just going to create movement, just do simple in and outs or use B-roll just to keep it moving. And sometimes the B-roll doesn't even have to be related. Sometimes if you're talking about a struggle that you had when you were getting into your niche or your niche or what you're doing, when you had that struggle, you could show yourself making coffee, making toast, getting up out of bed, brushing your teeth, because those are just all things that we all do in the midst of everything else. So it doesn't have to fit exactly. And I would say if anything takes me the longest with editing, it's usually finding a piece of B-roll, because I usually make and use my own B-roll. When you're just starting, you can go into CapCut and search for it, but you want to find something that's not specific, like general, because others are using it too. So you want to separate yourself from everybody else. So I mentioned the handheld movement for energy, adds raw, natural feel that works well in behind the scenes or fast-paced video. And again, you're moving, you're doing a life in a day of. This is what I do. If you have a busy day and you want to portray how busy that is, you want to have fast cuts. You want to have the camera move fast. And then you explain how it was at your job. Everything was fast-paced and chaotic. Short cuts, short video clips. And then you talk about how it is now with your online business. And all of a sudden you're talking slower and the color is more vibrant. It's not black and white anymore. And now the cuts are smooth, they're flowing, they're cleaner. It just creates that dramatic comparison between the two. It makes them want to have that part of it more. Oh, then we have so I'm going to show, I wanted to show a couple things here. One, I'm not sure if it's going to come up in this window or not, so I'll find out here. Okay, you can all see that, the handheld shot and film. Great. Actually, I just found this recently, but you can create a shot list and ultimate guide for camera movement. So again, not that you need to analyze it, but you can see some very popular movies here, and they utilize these things. Hollywood knows how to capture your attention. And if you can just do that a little bit, just grab one or two techniques from it, whether it's a pan and make it work, see how others do it, and just duplicate it. Play around with it. Don't spend a lot of time on it because you have other things to do, and videography and making videos may not be most of your thing. Some it might, but others, it's just part of the process. Draws you into that picture, draws you into what they're doing. So, and just utilizing these little things can really help draw somebody in. There's another one here. This explains the push-in.
A push-in is when the camera moves in closer towards a subject, and a pull-out is where the camera moves away. Each type of movement can be used to help deliver different messages. For example, pull-outs can help to reveal context, such as this scene.
So if you saw there were many things that kept our attention. There were words going across the screen. Those are your captions. I know you were all looking at them as the typewriter was typing them out. And then there's the one point where they put an audio in there and it said the same thing.
For example,
as the person on the screen, and it created a cohesiveness, a congruency between the two. It connected you even further.
These shots often start on a relatively tight frame on a subject, and then slowly zoom out to reveal the environment around them. Emotionally, pullouts can highlight a character's isolation or loneliness.
I could do that. I could do that little pullout, or that would help in what I'm looking to accomplish. And again, that's where the planning part of it comes into play. And once it becomes part of your process, then it becomes easier. So it's not meant to complicate it. You'll get to a point where you could probably do it without writing it in a template, and you could do it without going through all that stuff. It will only help the more you do, right? The more you actually do it, the more you practice it, it's going to help. Here's one that is a more advanced, but it gives an awesome perspective, and it's something that, from a videographer point of view, that I've been really looking to not perfect, but just really
stand out. So the parallax effect is when you create two different planes of motion and they're moving at different speeds. So for this shot right here, I have a subject, which is myself, and I'm spinning around that subject with my drone, and the background is moving faster. And when you use this effect, it creates a very dynamic look with your footage. And it's actually pretty easy to achieve.
Of course, you would need a second person to do it. But say, Jerry, if you are teaching a class, and you have somebody there and they are kind of panning around you. So the camera's on you, but they're basically just walking around you in like a semicircle. It's showing you, but it's also showing what's going around you, and it creates movement. So It's a simple shot, but you would need a second person to do it. And I suppose maybe if you were talented enough with a selfie stick, you could maybe do it. But that is a, probably a more advanced. But again, just knowing it's there. If you're filming something one day and you're like, you know what? I remember that one where it was kind of panning and because I want to show the background, but I want to show me too. Something that you're aware of, that you know that you can add into.